Prosperity, peace and love to all my brothers and sisters. I hope all is well with you. This is Teacher Kaitesi. So today I have a different kind of message. Okay, this is a bit of an education. Now, war is coming. War is coming to this eastern region of Africa. Okay, with everything happening between Rwanda and Congo, war is coming. It is imminent. We have always known that this war would come. Many prophets have talked about this war, and many people in Rwanda have always known about this, but we just never knew which time it would come or how it would, come. Now, for me, I first had visions about this war and dreams about this war when I first came to Rwanda, which is 2017. And like every year, I have these dreams twice, maybe twice, 3 times, depending. Okay, but then I always thought, but Rwanda has good relations with the neighbors, and we are okay. How would this war come? Okay, and this war is now imminent. I'm sure everybody can see that it is brewing and it is coming. And I know many people are trying to blame our president. Everybody thinks, hey, it's President Paul Kagame that is going to cause this problem. It's him. It's not him. It is really not President Paul Kagame causing this war. It is not. This war is rooted in the colonialism. This war was planted, this seed was planted at the Berlin Conference in 1884. When the colonialists decided to divide Africa according to the resources, that is when this war was born. Okay? That is when this war started. This creation of boundaries and borders and saying Rwanda stops here and Uganda stops here and starts from here. And now, you see, there are people in Rwanda, there are people in Ruhengeri who have relatives in Kisoro, who are relatives. These people once upon a time belonged in the same place, because for us as Africans, we didn't have borders. We moved according to the spirit within us. But when the Muzungu came here, he divided us and decided that now this brother is in Rwanda, and now this brother is in Congo, and now this sister is in Uganda, and now this one is in Rwanda. And they cut all over this place. Different peoples around Africa, you all know that in your countries, the immediate neighbor on the other side of another country, they are usually relatives there. It is the same with people in eastern Uganda and in Kenya and western Kenya. It is the same in the north of Uganda and in the Sudan. It is the same all over Africa. Okay? These people came, they cut us up, they put us in boundaries, and we effectively had to take on a different personality. Now, for Rwanda, please take the time and read about the Hutu and Tutsi. Please take the moment to read about it. Because truthfully for us Rwandans, Tutsis and Hutus were just an occupation. It was a seasonal thing. Sometimes people were Tutsis, sometimes they were Hutus, depending on what they were doing. Okay? If you were a shepherd and you had many cows and you were effectively a shepherd, you became automatically a Tutsi. Okay? If you settled and decided to be a farmer and have a more settled life, you became effectively a Hutu. That is how for us it was. But these Bazungu, when the Belgians came here, they decided now that they were going to put us according to how for them they could easily identify us, because they knew that it would be easy to separate us. Okay? So they decided to separate who the Tutsis and the Hutus are according to how the features of the people were. Okay? They started looking at your height and your size and your shape and your this, and decided that for you Hutu and for you Tutsi. And then we were given identity cards, and then we became that we were given. That is part of the fertilizing and giving water to that same war. Okay? Africans never had these things. As we lived according to the spirit of the land, and that is the easiest and the best way to live in life. This is why if you look at Africa before the Muzungu came, people used to move around all the time. People moved. And if you look from east to west and go down to South Africa, every place you will find that there are people that look like people in your country. Do you ever wonder about that? How did they get there? We moved. We migrated. We moved during seasons according to how the Spirit led us. And because we were being led by the Spirit of the land, we never went to the wrong place. Okay? But these people came and created these boundaries, and because of these boundaries, we have gotten to a time where we have to have this war. Secondly, if you look at what Congo is, for those of you who have read the Bible, Congo is Joseph. Congo is Joseph. And whatever you're concluding as a traitor in Africa, those are Joseph's brothers. Remember Joseph when he was young, how he bragged about his dreams and how he would want to be the leader of his brothers and his family, and they all bow down to him. Yes, and remember how the brothers betrayed him and sold him off into slavery. This is what has happened to Congo. So those African countries that you think are collaborating with the Bazungu are effectively Joseph's brothers who know that Joseph is the true leader. Congo is the true paradise of Africa. Congo is the true paradise of Africa. Its natural resources alone can enrich Africa beyond what we are even thinking. There is nothing that the Muzungu has done for us in relation to what we can do for ourselves. Just what, leave alone the minerals. If you look at all just above the ground, the forests in Congo, the waterfalls, the things that we can do with all these resources, all of us as Africans would be wealthy just from one Congo. Okay? You may think all these other regions, by the way, all have minerals. Nigeria has minerals, Kenya has minerals, Uganda has minerals. All these other places have minerals. But what Congo has, that is why the Muzungu effectively wanted it isolated. That is why Congo became isolated up to this point that now people are rallying up behind Congo. Because when Congo is free, the rest of Africa will be free. Yeah. So this war is going to happen. It has to happen. Because it has to teach the African that truthfully, you have to understand what the Muzungu did to you. Okay? There are some people whose minds are still caught up in the Muzungu being better. And you know what? The fact that we are still communicating using their languages, I think that shows already how much we have been subdued. Okay? But when this war happens, this is going to be a spiritual kind of war. It is going to purify this land. That whoever stays behind will look when this war ends, and it's going to be a very short war, according to what we have learned from the Spirit. It's going to be a very short war, okay? But when it ends, whoever will find the other, you will just hug them. They will immediately be your brother, your sister. They will immediately be part of you. This thing that we have developed, this thing, this envy, this jealousy, this competition, this thing is a foreign thing to Africa. We did not have that. That's not how our people lived. We knew that every person had their role, and everyone's role was important to the whole. But somehow we lost all that. These days your wealth is according to how much you can go according to what the system wants. And the system is not spiritual. It is not for you. The Spirit is for you. The Spirit within you does things for you according to what is good for you. Okay? But this physical system that the Muzungu brought for us, it is not for us. It doesn't do things for us, for our well-being. This whole system is built to help the Muzungu, to enslave the African and keep taking our resources. That is what this whole system is about. Our education system, our way of management, our governments, all these things, he put them in place so that they support him. So this war has to happen because Africa has to wake up to who Africa truly is. Okay? And Congo has everything that we all need and more. Because Congo is not going to use all those things by itself. It has to trade with its neighbors. It has to work with its brothers and sisters. Because that's what happened with Joseph. At the end of the day, Joseph took up all his brothers and took care of them and their families. So it is the same with Congo. Okay? So, whatever you may be thinking, whatever we may try to read, and we're getting annoyed and saying, no, it's the president of Rwanda causing this, it's not really him. This was done, this was planted way before he was even born. Okay? But when this war happens, when it ends, then those Africans that will remain will know what to do with Africa. So brothers and sisters, it is good for you to change who you are right now, when you still can. Because when that war comes, it is not going to be according to the tribes. All these weapons that Africans have acquired that are on the African soil are going to be used. That is the problem. And the Muzungu failed to finish us off with all his diseases and all these things that he introduced in our lives. Okay? So he gave us all these weapons. We have all these weapons. And these weapons are going to be what we are going to use to destroy one another. So only those that are of the Spirit, those ones that are of the Spirit will lead you to safety and will keep you safe. Those that have lost themselves and you have filled yourself up with demons and things out of all these teachings that were brought by foreigners, you will not make it through this season. So brothers and sisters, that's the message I had for you today. I really, really hope that we all look into ourselves. We all look into ourselves during this time. Do your best to get right with your brother, with your sister. Do your best to get right with them. Okay? Otherwise, it will become too late when everything is falling apart and you're blown away in this season just because you couldn't take a moment to come right. So all the best. Much love. Okay?